Welcome to Freedom Grows. My name is Lisa, and today I'm going to talk about an experiment that I did growing garlic two different ways. Now, garlic needs a certain amount of chill hours during the winter time in order to form nice sized bulbs. Just like with certain flowers, certain fruits and vegetables, garlic is one of them. In the northern climates, it's a little easier because you have a longer winter, so it gives the garlic enough chill hours that it needs. But in the southern climates, like I'm in Florida, we just don't have as many chill hours as the garlic would prefer. So we can still mimic those winter months by placing the garlic in the refrigerator for a couple of months before planting. Now, the first time I grew garlic, I did not put it through the vernalization process. The second time I grew it, which was now, I did. Now, what vernalization is subjecting the seeds or little seedlings to cold temperatures during the winter time in order for the fruit or the bulb to form nice large sized fruit. Both grows were handled the same. They were both grown in 5-gallon fabric containers. The same organic potting soil was used, the same compost, worm castings, and liquid fertilizer throughout the growing period. The only difference is that one was subjected to vernalization while the other wasn't. Now, the first grow, I just planted the cloves of garlic directly in the soil in the container in October, and then I harvested that garlic in late April. This time, I placed the bulb of garlic before planting in the refrigerator in September, and then I took it out of the refrigerator and planted it in December. We are now at the last day of April, so we are ready to harvest this garlic. And at the end of the video, I will show you a comparison of the garlic bulbs that were produced the first time without vernalization and those that were produced now with the vernalization, just to see if it was actually worth it or necessary in my case. But before I get into the harvest, I do want to say that this was soft neck garlic. So there are two main types of garlic, hard neck or soft neck. Soft neck does a lot better in the southern climates. Hard neck needs a longer period of cold temperatures. So we find that growing soft neck garlic out here is a lot more successful. Here is our garlic, and one of the signs that tells you it's ready to be harvested is when they start toppling over like this, and also when the bottom sets of leaves start to get yellow or crispy brown and start dying off. I was initially planning on leaving this in the soil until June or July, but I guess with the heat that we have, the growing season is just a little shorter than what I normally hear people recommend. Now, before I start harvesting, I'll talk about the soil that I used. I did use an organic potting mix, and I initially added some compost to this and some bone meal, which the garlic really loves, as well as worm castings. And what I do is I like to spray a liquid fertilizer as well every 2 weeks or so, but that's not necessary. It just really helps all of the plants that I have out here. Now, if you are harvesting garlic that's grown in ground, you can use one of those spade forks to gently prop up the bulbs from the soil so that you can harvest them easier. But because this is just one container and just a few garlic bulbs, I should be just fine doing this by hand. Now, you don't want to pull them up from the leaves. You want to keep these leaves intact with the bulbs because they just cure a lot better with the leaves still intact. So I'm just gonna get in here and pull up the garlic and try not to damage any of the bulbs. Here's one. This one's a little small, definitely smaller than when I first grew garlic and I didn't do the cold stratification process, but we'll see how the other ones are. I can conclude just by seeing the size of these that the first time I grew garlic was a little more successful. I may not bother with the cold stratification process this time around. I may just plant them directly in the soil in October as I did the first time and see how they grow. These are still decent. The size is a little small. You'd probably find this size in those packs that contain, you know, 3 bulbs of garlic. What I will do to cure them is I will cut off a little bit of the excess roots. I will not wash this off because I don't want to introduce them to any more water or moisture. They need to start drying out in a cool, dark location. I may hang them outside underneath the RV so that they don't get any direct sun or rain. And in about 3 weeks, they should be nice and dry and cured and ready to store long term. Although I will not be storing these long term, but it was a nice little experiment and definitely tells me that the cold stratification, at least for me in my experience, was not necessary. If you've made it this far into the video, I just want to say thank you for watching and for sticking around. Go ahead and hit subscribe if you haven't already so that you don't miss any future content.